There is nothing better than when two co-founder best friends link up with two other co-founder best friends. We got 4 people on the podcast tonight, so get ready, Elevation Nation. We have Kyle Nelson, Eli Libby, co-founders of Solo Retreat Co. We're going to dive all into their story, but before we started, I kind of gave them this role that they probably didn't want. I said, you guys are like the long-lost older brothers in entrepreneurship and mindfulness that we've always wanted, so welcome to the family, guys. We're so excited to have you both join Elevation Nation.
Thank you so much, man.
The show we were on before had one host and then us two, and he called it like a tripod. What would you call 4? Like a chair?
Quad pod? I don't know.
We could be a chair.
Yeah, I don't know, but he was all stoked on a tripod, and I was like, it was pretty good.
I like the quad pod. Well, I mean, do we get introduced to each other through Chase Damiano?
Yes.
Right?
Oh, Chase is who introduced us?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, we're going to see him tonight.
Man. Yeah,
we'll see
Well,
him tonight.
can I tell you the story of how we met Chase really quick, and then I'll let Parker get into our questions, because it's a wild one. I'm in my apartment building, have a golf simulator down there. Yep, perks of not living in New York. Was ripping some golf balls after work, and there are all these people in the kind of amenity area just having drinks, hanging out. So I'm overhearing all these conversations on entrepreneurship. It clears out. There's one guy left cleaning up. I said, hey, man, is this an entrepreneurship event? Like, it was Chase. We started shooting the shit, talking about his companies, what he was bringing together. I started talking about Elevation Nation. Chase came on the podcast. We've been buddies, made multiple intros to each other now. And I feel like that just doesn't happen as much now in the real world, which is why I share that story, because I don't go anywhere anymore. So it was great to meet Chase, and now you guys. It's beautiful.
That's crazy.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, Chase is an amazing dude. He told me all about what you guys were doing, and just wanted to throw it out. What you guys are doing is a massively impactful.
Very cool stuff.
Like that next generation, you talked about authenticity, just even in that statement of meeting somebody, meeting real people. I think what you guys are doing, you're helping shape that next generation. So keep crushing it. Hell yeah.
Well, that feels good to hear. I mean, 450 episodes later, right?
Yeah.
Most of the conversations have been virtual, so we're getting that human connection, right? We're getting that, but it's like, I wish it was more in person, and Sam and I always dreamed of. But he's in D.C., and he just threw shade at New York City, which, there's golf simulators here. I guess you got to, like, go on a subway to one. But, guys, let's jump into it. It is Elevation Nation. We've had plenty of conversations with plenty amazing people. We start off every single podcast the exact same way. You guys got to give us your elevator pitch. Who are you? I guess personally, and then what are you building?
Okay. Do you want to go first personally, or you want me to go first?
You can go for it.
What's up, guys? Eli Libby. New dad. Had a kid 7 weeks ago. It's our first kid. She's absolutely amazing. Outside of that, big outdoors guy. Love mountain biking, love dirt biking, love snowboarding, love camping, anything along those lines. And love Bend, Oregon. I'm actually branded with Bend, Oregon. I will never leave. So if you guys are out west, come check out the mountains. This is right in the backyard. It's pretty epic. Just a quick one. I'm going to pass it over to you, buddy.
What's going on? My name's Kyle Nelson. This is my best friend, Eli Libby.
Oh, God, he just dug it deep.
Married to my high school sweetheart. Have 2 boys, 10 and 6. In my free time, I'm on 2 different boards. I'm on the executive group of both of them too, so that keeps me very busy. Soccer coach, little league coach, just kind of one of those all-American dads, just trying to stay involved with my kids, and they keep me plenty busy. Other than that, it's typically just, we hang out a lot.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Kind of hustle and
I would
do what
hope
we need
you'd
to do.
hang out a lot as co-founders,
As
best
you guys,
friends.
yeah, you guys know. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
And the company.
And the company, yeah. What are we building here?
Yeah, so our company's called the Solo Retreat Company, and we help people go on structured solo retreat experiences, and we also curate and find amazing locations. We have over 8,800 partners around the United States that have been vetted for perfect solo retreat locations, so A-frame cabins, boutique hotels that have areas of privacy and silence. But the core of our program is the structure behind it. So instead of going out in the woods with no structure, hoping that something happens while you're out there with a journal, we actually have workbooks, guided prompts, and journal prompts that will help you go through some self-discovery, self-reflection, vision crafting, and ultimately find that clarity, that realignment of purpose that sometimes we get stuck in with transitions or trying to make hard conversations, and we just need to have that clarity to move forward in life. So that's what we've been doing. We've worked with a couple hundred people now, and we have a post-integration coaching and mastermind program as well, and very proud to say we love what we do. And it all came from us just going through some stuff, and we're just sharing what we did to go through it and how it's helped others.
Well, we're gearing up for a great conversation. I can already feel it.
Heck yeah.
And before we get deep, I do want to learn a little bit more. Okay, so you're saying I can go on a solo retreat through you guys. I go to your website, maybe call Kyle up, call Eli up. What's up? I want to do this. How does it even work? Like, do I get something in the mail and then I go travel? Do I go travel to a place and they already have it? What's in the box? Like, walk us through it.
Absolutely, man. So if you're going to come to us, typically you are in a place of, and maybe not, there's two different avenues. Very proactive. So you are a guy that is going to try and dig the well before you're thirsty, meaning you are, being proactive before a breakdown or before the drift. Or you're coming to us looking for clarity. You hit the roadblock in life, you're stuck in the business, you don't know if it's aligned with your morals anymore, and you're just trying to find that clarity and try and sleep better at night. So those are the reasons why you would come to us. Then once you come to us, we're sitting down with you and finding, what does peace and solitude look like for you? Is it in the mountains? Is it in New York City at a wellness resort? Is it a little cottage on the ocean? Whatever that is, we will talk through that. Once we have that idea, our team is going to go to work and find you that spot. And we're not looking for the large mansions with 15 bedrooms. We're not looking for the NFL Sunday ticket and big game room style rooms. We're looking for quaint 1 to 2 bedroom spots that offer spots for reflection. So that is nooks, that is different lofts, it's views, it's hot tubs, it's saunas, whatever that is inside that spot. We're going to book that spot for you. And then before you go on that time, we're shipping you a solo retreat box. And that's really the meat and potatoes of our program. It is a kit that we've put together with the work that we've done. It's iterated over the years, but it is guided and sealed workbooks, journals, meditations, audio notes, and some other trinkets and gadgets that make up a solo retreat. In that's where you're going to double click into those areas of life, those hard sticking points that you just don't know what to journal about or what to reflect on or meditate on. We've built a structure. You show up at that spot, you do the work. You come back, we're going to sit down with you in a 1-hour debrief coaching session. It's really a word vomit session for you, Parker, where you're just going to open up for an hour, unpack the days that you did, the aha moments, the breakthroughs, and then we're just the bumper rails on the side, bouncing you back and forth with different questions. If you're like, man, I want to be around Eli and Kyle and their energy and have an accountability partner, we do one-on-one coaching. We have an online community called The Tribe with hundreds of other people around the world that have gone on solo retreats. And then we do in-person mastermind retreats here in Bend. So that's the whole spiel, man.
I think you're missing one thing that has allowed me to get inside your brains the past couple weeks.
Oh man, can we put like a little like Star Wars music as you come
Our
in?
book.
Yeah.
Yes.
There it is.
Really
yes,
stoked
we just went best-selling authors on a book that we created called The Art of a Solo Retreat. And it has changed a lot of people's lives already. They've already ripped through the ebooks. They're reading their hardcovers, and it's been a very fun journey seeing that book get in the wild.
And I am on chapter 7, and I want to talk about it.
Okay.
But at first, I want to get into your guys' story a little bit, right? Elevation Nation knows certainly why we started Elevation Nation, which was us hitting a rock bottom in our lives, and Parker dealing with some loss and myself dealing with some mental health issues. And so that's what sparked us. I know you both have very personal stories, so whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but I think it's important that people know such beauty can come out of tumultuous times, and you two are just such prime examples of that. So I wanted to give you the floor to share as much as you feel comfortable sharing.
Oh yeah.
Heck
Definitely.
yeah, man.
Very comfortable
You
sharing.
kick us off?
The whole reason why we have what we have. Back in 2018, I was living in Paradise, California. Beautiful Sierra Nevada foothills. Think of a mountain town, small town. It was really a beautiful place to live. And living in Northern California, you're very used to wildfires. It's like we're always getting evacuation notices. We're always seeing plumes and alerts going off saying there's a local fire. One broke out on November 8th, and I didn't think much of it. I was like, okay, another fire. It's mandatory evacuate, or it's voluntarily evacuation. And so I started kind of getting some stuff ready. My son was more towards where the fire was at a home daycare. My wife was already down the ridge because I was in Chico, so that's where everyone worked. And sure enough, that fire was starting to blaze, and news got really big and loud. And since then, they've done documentaries, 60 Minutes, Ron Howard, Matthew McConaughey's coming out with a movie in December. So most people know about the campfire in Paradise. And sure enough, those flames started getting really high, over 100 feet high. The fire was growing 100 yards a minute, and it was just starting to engulf the whole mountainside. And so I started to evacuate. And I started seeing spot fires in the distance. The smoke was coming in heavy. I had my son and my dog and one piece of luggage. During that time, my parents just moved up. They were about a mile away. And so I had to get them out of their house, pushing them, like, you guys need to evacuate. Had to go get my son. And I had my business in downtown Paradise as well. And so that day, sure enough, I was able to escape the fire through hours and hours and hours of sitting, and just crazy stories I could talk about. My car almost broke down, overheated, almost ran out of gas. Gas station ended up catching on fire, like right behind me. It was a crazy time. But I did lose my home. My parents lost their home. I lost my business. And sure enough, 24 hours before that, November 7th, me and my wife experienced a miscarriage. So I had a lot of loss in a 24-hour period. Very, very difficult time. But as most of us, we think we're resilient. We've done the personal development books. We've read them all. We've done the courses. We've listened to podcasts. My mindset very much was, how do I bounce back as quick as possible, try to create some normalcy for my son, and just try to get back on our feet. And luckily, I had support of Eli and other friends, but it was a really hard time. And so what happened was, I didn't deal with those emotions. I didn't see the actual truth of what had happened in my life, and I suppressed them. And I suppressed them for years. I'd feel spouts of anxiety, didn't quite know where that was coming from. I definitely had moments of depression, but those moments became heavier and heavier until one of our advisors and mentors, Tim Allen, we went out and visited him, and we did this trimetrics. It's like a DISC assessment. And there was a part of it that was talking about my self-awareness, and for some reason it was really low. And he's like, why is it so low? And he said, did you deal with the fire ever? Did you deal with this miscarriage? And I was like, I haven't. And so then that was kind of plugged in the back of my mind. He pushed me to get a therapist. I got one. Sure enough, I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, depression, and PTSD. So all of that kind of started adding up until April 21st, 2021, where I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. I looked at myself in the mirror, and I saw nothing back. I didn't know who the person was I was looking at. I was completely numb. I felt nothing. And I was ready to end my life at that moment because I was so down and dark and deep, and I didn't see what tomorrow could be like, let alone what 5 minutes from then could look like. And I heard the word escape, and I took it as, I need to escape this noise that I'm living in right now. Some people would think I need to escape life, and luckily I didn't choose that. I chose to go on a solar retreat. In that moment, I didn't know what a solar retreat is. All I knew was I needed to escape and remove the noise of where I was currently in my life, because it was so chaotic and so loud. I couldn't hear my deep voice anymore, my inner voice. It wasn't guiding me. I was just going in the chaos, and I loved it because that was distraction. So sure enough, my wife helped me create some kind of primitive journal prompts and some like little exercises. I went to the Oregon coast, and those emotions came out, and I dealt with them, and I saw who I was, and I noticed the identity I created from that fire was not who I really was, and re-identified in who I wanted to be, and came back as not just the man and the husband and the best friend and the father, but I came back loving myself again and putting myself first, and that was the most important thing that I really learned from that. And it was a really hard time. The solar retreat, though, completely changed my life. But when you go through these kind of moments in your life and you do things kind of on the whim and you hope that this is the decision that you need to take, you may think it's for you, but eventually comes around and you find out, no, it was actually for other people, because now I have this gift that I can share with others. And by the time I came back, within weeks, Eli went through his whirlwind of his own life and fires he had to put out with. But luckily, serendipitously, God willing, divine intervention, however you want to look at it, like this happened for a reason, so I could gift that experience to him. And I'll let you jump in there, but
Yeah. No, man, like you said, Sam, everything that's rough or hard times create beautiful moments. And that was just a great example of that. Kyle and I have been, like we talked about, business partners and best friends in 4 different companies for the last 13 years. Started a bunch of cool stuff, and it's been a really fun journey. And then to see him go through that, man, was brutal. I mean, it's just like looking at you guys and seeing somebody like on the verge of suicide. And like, what happens if Parker isn't here tomorrow? Like that kind of wild stuff goes through your head. And he came back from a soul retreat, and I saw a whole nother human, like the human that I knew before, but even just like more enlightened and more motivated and glass half full kind of dude. And then a couple of weeks later, man, I found out my marriage was ending. I was cheated on for the last 6 months, and I didn't know that, so it ended in a divorce. But in the 2 weeks, our business at the time completely crumbled. Had to lay off everybody in our company. We had 15 people. We had to sit around the table. Kyle and I had $1.72 in the bank account left, and we had to figure out how to turn this thing around. And I lost my great uncle, who was this kind of like cornerstone individual and North Star in my life. So in a span of 2 weeks, when it rains, it pours. And the question that I was just beating my head against the wall about was like, is it me? Like, is all of this happening because of who I am? What did I do? The decisions I made? Did I now put 15 people on the street without jobs, when afford for their families, put food on the table? Was it me and my bad decisions? That one hurt the most, to be honest with you guys. Like the business, I think men carry our identity of our businesses, especially entrepreneurs, on our shoulders, as you know. And when you have to lay a bunch of people off, that hurts a lot. So I went on a solo retreat with his prompts and took him out into the woods. Same thing. Very much answered those questions. I found purpose. I found alignment. I found the why. Like, what is my reason for being here? And what is the gift now that I have that I can potentially illuminate somebody else's path? Like, now that I have that gift. So through that, man, came back completely changed. From that moment on, we really started to re-gear things and recalibrate. And then what we do now was all sparked from those couple, it was a couple years in between there, but that was the seed.
I mean, I want to thank you both for opening up and sharing your hardships with us and what you've turned into such a beautiful friendship, company, but more importantly, a place where you're helping a lot of other people. And I think when Parker and I started Elevation Nation, again, this is why I said you guys are like the older brothers. We started it out of necessity for ourselves. We didn't know what we were doing as young people. I didn't care if anyone listened. Honestly, the podcast was a ploy to get cool people to tell me the secret.
100%.
I needed help. I needed free therapy and help.
Yep.
And
full-time therapist right here, by the way.
Yeah, that's Parker's job. Pay you in hugs, buddy. And that's where it kind of snowballed into. I will never forget when Parker and I were, a dozen or so episodes in, and we got a DM from someone that we had no mutual friends with, had nobody in common, saying, "Hey, I just wanted you guys to know I'm going through some hard stuff right now, and this helped. You guys helped." And we looked at each other, and it was like, we could make $0. I do not care. We helped one human being. How cool is that? And so I'm just so proud and grateful that you guys have turned your stories into something so beautiful and so positive. And we all have such aligned missions with both of our companies here. And I'm excited that there are people like you guys making the world a better place. So I want to thank you both. And then I want to get into something interesting and different, because when people hear solo in today's day and age, they go, hell no. There's no way I can do that.
Yeah.
When was the last time people were actually solo with their thoughts, with themselves? I feel like, and I don't know if you guys do this in kind of an intake survey, people are probably saying like maybe when they were in the womb.
Never.
Right?
We
Like
ask that all the
when,
time.
yeah. I'm even thinking myself, like when was the last time I was actually alone?
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. It's rare because we have such a fear of what may happen in our minds and the actual voice becoming loud again. And what may we possibly unveil that we don't want to deal with right now? And most likely that unveiling is a limited belief, a piece of emotional baggage that we need to deal with that's actually stopping us from getting to where we need to get. But we keep pushing it off, right? We keep putting it in this other area that we don't want to deal with, and we want to live and thrive in that chaos because we think that's what strategy is because we're busy. When in reality, stillness and solitude is the real strategy. Mm-hmm. Taking a step back, seeing for who you are and what you do, and seeing it with real eyes and removing all that, that's where you're going to start getting some answers.
And Sam, I know that you've read our book back and forth, and like you've taken notes and you've done all that stuff. So chapter 5, as you can recall, and I might let you nail the page number, but chapter 5, we talk a lot about the study that was done by Popular Science. And one of the studies that was done, which is just speaking to your point, they pulled a bunch of people into a room and they said, okay, you can either have 15 minutes by yourself in your thoughts solo, or you could administer a shock to yourself, like a good shock. 67% of people said that they're going to do the shock. They don't want to sit alone in fear and like in that world and in their own head.
15 minutes.
So what does that mean? So to us, and the reason we put that in the book is the high performers, the people like you guys and everybody that's listening to the show are that, 30% of people like the Bill Gates, like the Aaron Rodgers, like the Matthew McConaughey's that do solo retreats to find clarity, energy, direction, and alignment. That's why people would do that and sit in their own thoughts and be distraction free. Put this thing away because this thing is extremely addicting and there's so much noise in it. And be and find that clarity and ultimately hear your inner voice. That is what a solo retreat is. Hear it again. It's suppressed with so much noise.
I'm so glad you brought up that study. Sorry, Parker. Yeah. I'll jump in real quick and then go ahead. I'm so glad you brought it up because when I read it, I said, of course I wouldn't shock myself. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, these people are that sad that they can't sit with their own thoughts. And then I went, well, at some point I might get kind of bored and I might, I think people, even though I am introspective and love to get deep and vulnerable, sometimes it's hard.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only scary, but difficult. Like I find myself, and I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry, Parker. I've been using ChatGPT a lot for good or for bad as a therapist, probably for bad. But when I have these thoughts that pop into my head, I can either save them and write them down, and you don't exactly get the thought or the emotion out. And then I wait 2 weeks because I see my therapist twice a month and I try to articulate it back, but it doesn't feel as strong and I'm feeling better now. Or I have this thing that knows for Sam, I'm rooted in energy and Judaism and spirituality. And those are the things that are important to me. And so respond based on that. And I'm able to get an answer, right? Not an answer, but a thought right away. But even that's not being by myself with my own thoughts. I need someone to prompt with and push and toy, and just writing or thinking alone. I can't even tell you the last time that I just did that.
Wonderful. I want to talk a little bit more about the power of sitting with yourself, sitting in your thoughts, being introspective, because I think we live in a world where we all want reinforcement in what we're doing, whether we're doing a good job or, don't go that way, or you're doing this thing. But the interesting thing about meditation or an introspective practice like journaling is that there really is no right or wrong answer. There's your answer to the way that prompt was asked and the way you responded. So I'm for those who come on a solo retreat, or even those who sit in their thoughts for, let's say, 5 minutes a day, I'm curious from your guys' perspective, how do you help people think that they don't need to have an answer, even though they're always trying to go and find it? Because it might not be ever found.
That's the issue. Mm-hmm. Like what you just said. You can't ever find it. You keep looking for that clarity and that answer, and that chase will never end. But what you can do is you can create progress and you can create clarity around the focus of where you need to head towards that clarity and towards that answer. mean, that's what we're in. We're sort of like in a never-ending chase in life of whatever the next thing is. But in order to make sure we know which way our compass is pointed, rather than just letting it just go wherever it needs to, because that's how we all operate as humans at this point, it's just taking a step back.
Yeah. Really what we say to Parker's amazing question is just focusing and recalibrating and realigning around what actually matters in life. What creates fulfillment, like for you guys? If you were to sit there, like that outcome doesn't necessarily need to be like a distinctive business that correlates to fulfillment. Right. Maybe it could be just creating and spending more time doing something that you love, hitting more golf balls in the simulator. If that's what it is, Wednesdays at 4:00, you're grabbing a beer and you're going to go hit golf balls. Whatever it is to create that happiness. Aaron Rodgers said it really good. There was a documentary called Enigma. It just came out. He talked about his whole chase, his whole outcome when he would do his retreats was, I want to win a Super Bowl. Everything was about a Super Bowl. And then he won the Super Bowl. And now that kind of identity went like away with the trophy. And now he was like, who am I now? So his outcome and his realization and recalibration in his solo retreats are all around the outcome of fulfillment, what makes him happy and what actually matters to him in his life. So it's maybe not a tangible outcome, but it's something that actually matters to you, and reconnecting with yourself, because we lose track of that with all the noise and things and stimulus out there.
Another thing I want to bring up is I think it's great to go from one goal, a tangible goal mindset, to Parker and I call it the feeling or emotion goal, right? How you want to feel when you have something happen. But I also want to say something that I've been practicing in my ripe old age of 30 now for 2 weeks is I want to appreciate the feeling I have now. And I'll give you guys a prime example. This is something I'm going to get more vulnerable with. Parker doesn't even know this over the next couple months on the podcast, which is finding my person, my spouse, my partner, because I don't have that yet. It's been something that's obviously I want to do and on my mind. And instead of saying, oh, I long for an awesome wife like Parker's wife, JJ, Mrs. Elevation Nation, who we love, right? I'm going, you know what? I'm just enjoying the fact that I have this time here, pun intended, as solo Sam, right? And what is that feeling right now? And how am I going to enjoy this? Knowing that, optimistically speaking, that time will come. Those emotions of companionship will come. But the emotions of soloness and Sam being single and by himself and in a city and doing his own thing are only here right now. And I think far too often, I'd love if there's a study on this, maybe we got to look this up, at least in the United States, but maybe the world, people are always longing for the next thing, the next event, the next feeling, the next emotion, whatever it may be. What about what you're feeling right now? And so I'm curious to you both. Of course, you were in very deep and dark places when you both went on your first solo retreats. Was it only about finding new emotions that you wanted to experience, or was it also weirdly appreciating the emotion that you had in those deep, dark moments?
One of the best questions I think we've heard. That was well teed up. Do you want to go first?
Go, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the moment of that, when you're experiencing something like that, like for me personally, I didn't have an option. I didn't even know. I was at the point of like, well, maybe solo is the way. Maybe I need to just go escape. I just need to go by myself somewhere and figure it out on my own, because all I knew in that moment was chaos and external input over and over and over, and never being able to experience. So I knew in that moment, what I'm doing isn't right. I need to do the exact opposite.
In the book, we talk about a framework that we built. And the second part of the acronym in the reset framework is engage in the present. That is part of the program. That is why we did what we did. That is, like we said, everything like you guys is built on experience. So we remove the noise and then we engage in the present. That's how a solo retreat will go. One of the things that I did is I was going through that really dark time, and there was so many things and outcomes that I wanted to have. But as soon as the noise was removed, it started to get eerily quiet, to the point of like how loud it was to chew. Yeah. And then your mind starts to wander like, man, this moment is wild. And you start looking around, and we encourage our solo retreats to be in a nature spot. And then you start to realize, like, man, my problems are pretty small in comparison to the world and the stuff that where we live and how we live, and the gratitude comes in. So I started to engage in that present moment, hearing the trees blow, like listening to how loud it was to chew and to breathe. And that moment right there was a moment, like you said, it's like, I love this moment right now, and I'm going to cherish this moment. And I've been doing that, Sam, even more right now, because I have a new kid, and it's like, really, it's so hard to look at her and like be mind wandering to work. And I am definitely do that. And I'm just honest with that. But you spend time being like, I love this moment right now. I love changing the diapers at 2 a.m. I love it. You've got to put yourself into that mindset, because it's going to be gone pretty soon. And now they're in a different stage of life, and you got to love that stage, and you've got to love the stage you're in right now, because it will change.
It's always changing. I love this conversation. I love what you guys are doing. The last 4 years or so, I've made it I've had very intentional efforts with my friends, my good friend. Sam's been on one of them. Is we hold our own little retreat. It's not a solo retreat, but it's a retreat to a place, to your point, typically in the wilderness, away from society, where we can just go. Among our friend group, we've experienced a lot of sudden loss, whether that be, for me, I lost a coworker, and I was the first responder on the scene. My stepdad died unexpectedly about 3 or 4 months later. Our best friend lost his sister. And there's a lot of traumatic things that have happened, particularly in my life, Sam's life, and our close friends. And we've done these retreats where we go to a space and we give ourselves the ability to just feel what we need to feel. Music is a massive part of it, and we've curated a playlist of music that really sparks that deep intentional feelings that bring out some emotion that you're feeling, and they get really dark and they get deep, and it's powerful in the sense is like, what is my role here, my purpose? Oh my God, that thing happened. Why did that happen? But like the reality that you're facing in that moment really brings a new perspective. And where I'm going with this question and where in the storytelling is that while the really hard, deep, introspective thinking and emotional connection that we have through the pain, we always make sure that as while we're feeling that pain, we're also leaning into that fun and that creativity and that childlike play that we love, whether that be, finger painting, throwing food, like creating an environment where we can be really, really silly.
Parker did a good job. I got to interrupt you, Parker. I got to say what you did to help make this environment. When we went on our retreat, Parker showed up with a ginormous blank white box. Yeah. And I was like, what's in the box, bro? He's like, I got a surprise for you, dude. Just wait. Next morning, we wake up. I open the box. It's a starter kit for a second grade teacher. It's got silly putty. It's got crayons. It's got finger paint. It has little tchotchkes and fidgets. And he was like, we get to be kids this weekend, man. And so I just wanted to give that context, Parker, because you're very good at curating the vibe.
And so what I find is like with those retreats, and this is from my own experience, is that whenever I'm getting introspective and thinking deep, it's really intense. But oftentimes that intensity is a lot, and maybe you get to where you want, you get that clarity, but it's also through playing with silly putty and throwing it at each other and having a good time that there's this newfound joy, this newfound perspective that you can also take away. And I think we found that that's always been really impactful too, is you have the really deep, hard moments, but then the really deep, fun ones too, that when we leave and when I look back at those retreats that we have, it's like, wait, I'm 30 years old. I work a big job. I got this podcast. I got a wife now, but I'm also always trying to lean into the fun too. And so I'm curious, from your guys' perspective, how do you embed that fun through a solo retreat?
Yeah. One of the big things that I think is so important, and Kyle and I have been really passionate about, is actually going to a spot to do a solo retreat. We have some options where you can do this solo retreat. We can ship you the box. You can do it at home. You can go to a coffee shop somewhere in New York and do it. But the change in environment and that shift in your energy, if you were to jam a rod in the earth is vibrating on a theta wave. But if we're sitting at home right now, we're vibrating, our brains are all vibrating on a beta wave. So if you can actually transfer and move to a spot, and what the theta wave that actually is doing is it's sparking curiosity. So when you guys did your retreat and you went out and you did something totally new and different, there's actually a different vibration happening in that room. And what's really cool about that is it sparks creativity and curiosity again, like it's newfound, it's back again. So when you travel to a cool solo retreat spot, one, it's very new. You're traveling. There's that built up, like, what you don't know what's going to happen. And that's another thing about the solo retreat is we don't have you open it until you get there. And that is to slow you down and, to Sam, your point, to be present in that moment. We don't want you to be predicting what's going to be there. You're not going through everything. You're waiting until you get to that spot. So when you do arrive in this new spot, new energy, excitement, curiosity, you have whatever the amenities that you're looking for. Cold plunge, sauna, hot tub, cool views, whatever that is, that's the fun part. And then within the activities in the workbooks, we're saying, hey, go to a coffee shop, leave your phone, and just people watch. Bring a journal and just what notes come to mind. Walks, like intentional walks, like pick a color or pick a shape and go for a walk without your phone, and like just see when you're in the moment how many of those shapes appear just randomly. Things like that. I think those are the fun elements on top of curiosity.
And we have one prompt in it that's a happiness assessment.
Yes.
So to see from, you do two different columns. One is the things you like doing, and then how do you rate it from 1 to 5? And then taking a look at that and saying, wow, I love mountain biking and it's a 5 out of 5, but I'm only doing that once a month. Why is that? And then that's when you can start building that self-reflection and discovery. And typically there's something stopping you. And that's how you just start that self-awareness and that intentional living. Because you're just seeing something like, wow, this actually makes me happy when I'm not doing it. Why is that? So we try to start on more of the lighter side with the retreat, and then kind of start going more deeper and deeper into limited beliefs and emotional baggage and things like that. So
everything in the retreat that we do has intention and why. So without giving too much away, there is a disposable camera. So kind of the fun thing in the box, you asked Parker, a disposable camera has a limited amount of shots. And on your retreat, you have a limited amount of time to use this. So every photo, you have to make it count.
You can't review it like on your phone. You can't,
Take the shot. And you're not taking 6 of them to try to get the perfect angle. You're just taking 1. And there's a lot of stuff like that that make the retreat really fun.
I love it.
You guys,
I'm intrigued. I'm like, what's in the box? I mean, Sam knows what's in my box that I send him when we do our retreat.
We're gonna need some new inspo. I think you guys are obviously doing such an incredible job, and I want to hit on something that I think by being solo, you are truly helping people unlock their authentic self, right? And so at Elevation Nation, we know that the world is moving so fast. There's technology at us 24/7, and now our world is full of AI. At Elevation Nation, we like to preach that the real AI that sets you apart is authentic intelligence and finding your authenticity. And oftentimes we hear young people say, well, I think this is who I authentically am. I went to school. I went to University of Maryland. I got a degree in business because that's what my parents told me to do. And now I got this job in Big Four. Like, that's me. I'm authentically that person. And they lack the introspective skills to dig a little bit deeper into their soul, into their spirit, and be authentic. And I think the beautiful thing that you guys have curated is being solo and being introspective is that spark that helps you breed authenticity. And so I want to preach one thing that I've been doing. If people are listening to this and going, I don't have time, I don't know how, a coffee shop, a box, I can't do that. There's no way I can be without my phone. I want to challenge you to do something that I've been doing recently. I realized I am horrible at being alone. Had this realization about 6 months ago when I moved in by myself. I don't have a roommate to entertain me anymore. I'm alone. I work from home all the time. And so I started doing these solo Sam days where I go in, I'm in DC, there's a ton of free things to do, and I map out an entire day of what I'm going to do. I'm going to bike, I'm going to go read by the water for an hour, I'm going to grab a coffee, I'm going to get an acai bowl, and then I'm going to go to a museum that I've never been to before. And then my most recent one is treating my life like a little bit of a video game. What is the new skill or quest that I want to uncover? My last one was I want to be a sommelier, so I went to a wine tasting, just hung out with the bartender, the sommelier, and just tried to learn about wine. Got probably a little too drunk, but I did it, right? And that was my solo day. So I want to challenge people out there that are saying, I can't go run to a retreat yet. There's no way. There are baby steps you can take to practice being solo. When was the last time you ate dinner alone, not on TikTok, right?
Absolutely, man. That's such a good point. I love that. That is really cool. I think you should try and make that louder. I think what you're doing is really cool. Solo Sam days. I think you should, I don't know, create something cool.
I think you guys need to take it and run with it and brand it, and I give you guys full rights to do what you need.
Chapter 12, the last chapter of the book.
Damn it, I'm only on 7. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm getting to. The chapter is ways to reset. So
love it.
What you just said, you're going to be like, oh, I'm ahead of the game. I'm good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
More sommelier time. Let's go. Pour it up.
Okay, let's do it.
I was going to say, if Sam's trying to figure out a new skill, he needs to figure out how to ski, because that, like, talk about, like, I'm always going, I go to Utah, I go to Colorado, I got family out there. There is nothing better than being away on the mountains. Your phone does not work, and you're journeying through a mountain. Sam, you got to learn, so you can come and do it with me one day.
Bend, Oregon.
Deal.
Mount Bachelor, best mountain out here. You guys got to check it out.
Well, we got friends now in the area, so I think Parker, we might have
places. Here we go.
We might have to make a trip.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love what you guys were saying about authenticity, though.
I love that.
I really, really do love it. And a solo retreat, we've always said, is one of the best ways to dig into that authenticity, find who you really are and what really matters to you. You guys have heard this quote. I said it in a podcast earlier. Kyle's probably bored of it. It was an Oscar Wilde quote that I think you guys would really dig if you haven't heard it yet. The Oscar Wilde quote is all about authenticity. It says, be yourself, everybody else is taken. That's it. They're going to go further. That's it. But that quote right there, it encapsulates what authenticity means. And you could look around on social media and be these different people, but you got to be who you are, because they're all taken.
Last point, you said it earlier. I forget, it might have been you, Kyle, around the idea that, actually, Eli said it. Like, the people who are change makers in the world, the ones who are going to lead their own lives, whether that be in their personal fulfillment, whether that be in business, family, whatever it is, the people who others really look to as success, it all comes down to authenticity, right? It all comes down to knowing who you are, what you want out of life, what inspires you. And Sam and I, through our conversations with 250 plus people who've joined the podcast, who are, some people have raised and started $100 million businesses. Some people have made it all the way to a gold medal at the Olympics, right? These are people who are so in touch with who they are. They're deep. They get really deep. And so I just am so excited that we were able to share not only our mission with you guys, but you can share your mission with our community of people, because I truly believe what you guys are doing is creating more leaders, more go-getters in a world where it's so easy and consuming to not be that.
It's amazing, man.
That's so good.
It's a great way. Great way to put a bow on it. Well done.
So,
Gents,
we're not done yet, though.
Almost. I know we're running way over. Bear with us.
Good, yeah.
We got something called rapid fire.
Okay.
We got a couple quick questions we want to just
fire away.
Spit at you guys. Okay.
Okay. I'm stoked.
Whoever wants to answer, we can go alternate. Favorite place to be solo?
Mountains, hands down. Coast for him.
I love it.
What is the most...
what about you guys? Well, hold up. Is this
Oh,
a
yeah.
one-way
Solo?
rapid fire?
We're going right back at you guys.
You can throw it right back.
Yeah.
Sam's is obviously the bar. What is yours, Parker?
The vineyard.
Yeah, we learned that tonight. We learned that
That was
tonight.
so good. Okay, guys, go ahead.
That was good, dude.
Parker's going to say the mountains, right?
I think, like, at the top of a mountain with my snowboard strapped in, and I'm looking down, and I'm just like, oh my God, let's go.
Yep.
Like that moment, I never take for granted.
Love it, man. I'm with you.
I really like lakes in the middle of woods. That's like because I just feel so isolated. That's my vibe. Yeah. Ocean's great. I love the sound, but there's always so many people.
Yeah.
Now Oregon
But
Coast.
lake?
Yeah.
I need
Love it, man.
East Coast is a little too crowded.
I bet.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Great answers, guys. Love them.
All right. I would love to hear, like, what was a piece of feedback that you guys got from someone who was on a solo retreat that, like, has always stood, like, with you?
James.
Yeah, James.
He came back and he just said, guys, it's changed my life. And he was actually our first client. And on my solo retreat that I had done before that, I had said, I need to hear somebody say, this program changed their life so that we go all in on this solo retreat company. This was 3 years back. The next week we came back. The first person we sold the solo retreat to, he was a 60-year-old guy that had way more wealth, way more accolades, way bigger audience, big, massive podcast.
It's like the person you don't want to have as your first client because you're like, you get
great.
Yeah,
this guy. And we had a ton of, back in the day, a lot of imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people experience that. And he went on the program and he said, guys, like he turned the Zoom on and
literally it's like before
said, this
anything.
changed my life. I got like, I felt I could feel the emotions kick in and I was like, chills. And then from that day on, we dropped everything and we're doing this.
That's cool.
That's why you do it, gents. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say that one.
Our last rapid fire is a chance for you to shamelessly plug. But what's a book recommendation that you have for Elevation Nation?
Well, we are a 4 times bestseller now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And top new release 4 times as well. So dominating Amazon, which is really exciting. But we have this book we came out with last week called The Art of a Solo Retreat, a structured path to reclaiming clarity and purpose in a noisy world. It was built and written in a way that you can consume it quickly. It's not overcomplicated 1,000-page book with most of these personal development books are. They just get straight to the point. Here's the science behind it. This is what happened to us. Here's the framework. This is how to do it. It's simple and clean and to the point. And we're getting tons of feedback of people that have already read through phenomenal. It, got on chapter 7, and is loving the book. So if you're out there right now, on Kindle, 99 cents. Otherwise, the hardback is $25. And I can shamelessly say it's the best $25 you're probably going to spend in this upcoming year. So
it's true. It's good. That's a good way to put it.
And if you feel like you want to take that next step of doing a solo retreat and the book isn't enough, of course, go to soloretreat.co and we will get a custom retreat plan built for you, find great locations, let you understand the structure, and get you started.
Well, I got to get myself a new book because Sam reads on the Kindle. I got a lot of physical books here.
Yeah, man.
My wife is like, when are you getting the second bookshelf? Because it's literally overflowing. It's incredible. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for plugging all your stuff. Last question of the podcast. We ask every single person who joins Elevation Nation, whether that be through our podcast, whether that be through our keynotes or workshops, any person that comes into Elevation Nation's world has what we call a mental motto. That is a phrase that you lead your life by. And so, Eli, Kyle, what is your mental motto?
I gave mine away already. I already gave mine away. Be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
That's too easy, dude. That's someone else's mental motto that you took.
I know, but that's what I live by. I'm also a new one I have. I'm going to throw it out there. It's really just it's a super small straight line. Matthew McConaughey, don't half-ass it.
Love it. Yeah. I would say ditto, but I'm not. Man, I would say it's not really a motto, but I just try to live every moment with intention. Every thought that I have, every experience I have, whether it's just making a cup of coffee in the morning or going to my son's soccer game and coaching it, I try to have the most intention as possible. So life with intention.
Yep. It's a good one. It's an original one.
It's a two beautiful, I guess 3 mental mottos. I want to thank you guys, Eli, Kyle, for joining officially now Elevation Nation. But more importantly, thank you guys for just making such a difference in so many people's lives and now Parker, and our life as well. And so thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining the nation and Elevation Nation. Go be solo. Until next week. Peace.
See you guys.